Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my own asexual journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the great big subscribe button down below right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live, like now, or post a new video. Don't forget, if you haven't already ever shared anything on this channel, please share some videos and help other asexuals benefit from it. And if you didn't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life and Sex, a celebration of asexual diversity, and most of the founder of asexualise.com and the first founder of Asexualise Academy, which is the world's first online training centre and school for asexuals and asexuality. Well, welcome to tonight's episode. Tonight's episode. Wow, an asexual who video sex, basically. So, I always share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours, as I said on this video. Today, I was messaging this guy on ASAP. If you didn't know what ASAP is, it's a dating app for asexuals, us that lack sexual attraction. An asexual person is someone who is absent of sexual attraction. So in general, we don't get the need, urge, or want for partnered sexual intercourse. That doesn't mean to say that some asexuals don't participate in sex, and it doesn't mean to say that some asexuals don't like doing some sexual acts, but there's quite a few of us that don't want to have sex, and there's quite a number of us that don't want to do sexual acts, or don't want to do many sexual acts, or any sexual acts, right? And so I was on ASAP, and there was this guy on there. Obviously, I'm not going to go into who it is because I don't think that's fair on them. And I asked them a question: where they born, where they live, and they said where they were born, because I thought they looked slightly foreign. Like, they did have a little bit of an authentic, like a foreign look, a little bit, maybe like a little bit of Chinese in them or something somehow. So I thought they were probably British, but I just want to double check if there are any sort of like foreignness about them. But anyway, so they told me pretty much straight away that they're introverted and they're looking for someone else that's also introverted. So I thought that was fine. And then and then I did say to them, well, that's okay, but if you want to come to an asexual meetup that I hold, that's, you're welcome to, because, I'm on ASAP. Yes, I'm looking for a serious committed relationship on there, but I also hold asexual meetups, in person meetups, that is, in my city of Exeter. And obviously these are used for socializing, not specifically for dating, but an asexual person might meet the love of their life at an asexual meetup. Asexuality being the lack of sexual attraction. So if we're meeting up, we're not going around thinking about having sex with each other. We're thinking about just enjoying each other's company, liking each other's personalities, talking about asexuality and the general world, life, and all that type of thing. So, so I thought I'd invite them because we're not romantically compatible, they made that perfectly clear straight away. So I thought, that's great, everything was fine. And they're like, oh yeah, send me the link. But I mean, a lot of the time I do my meetups, I do post them on Asexuality, on Avon and other places, but I mostly, and my own pages, some of my own Facebook pages, but I do a lot of it like private message one-on-one to people because I think it's just more personalized and nice, right? So basically, they said that they're not looking for someone like me in a relationship, but they're thinking about coming to meetup. So I told them roughly what the meetup was, and they said they would be up for that. And then they turned around and said to me, we could have a date afterwards. As they do say, opposites attract, with me being extrovert and them being introvert. And I'm like, oh, well, I thought that was nice, right? Because I thought, wow, an actual asexual person asking me for a date makes a nice change, right? Because I'm always kind of like complaining a little bit on that a lot of asexual guys, they're not forthcoming with actually asking for dates. Obviously, sexuals, I get asked lots of times of stuff, but asexuals tend to be like, in the main, what my experience, I'm not saying everyone's like this, but in my experience, a lot of the asexual guys, they're just not very proactive. They're not like, yes, let's meet up, let's have a Skype date, or let's meet up, let's have an actual date, let's go out somewhere. You know, they're not really like that, whereas sexuals are very much more forthcoming. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously with them, sex seems so important. I do feel that it's a bit sad sometimes when, because sex isn't part of the equation, I feel that more asexuals are more nonchalant about being in a relationship, more not bothered about being in a relationship. This is very generalization, because I know some people who really want a relationship. I've got asexual friends who really do, you know, they're not suitable for me to be in a relationship with. Wrong gender for a start for most of them. Yeah, they like guys. So, you know, it's just, you know, it's very difficult, you know, and it's kind of like, I wish that there was more asexual people that would just go, yeah, let's go on a date, you know, like go for a meal, go to cinema, find out if we like each other, or at least have a Skype date, you know, be proactive, not reactive, and just go out there and actually find out if people are right for you, you know? And so it was really nice when he said about having a date, right? Although obviously he said previously we weren't suitable, right? So, you know, I thought that was really nice. I thought, yeah, we're getting somewhere, right? I know they're older though than I would usually go for, right? So I did say that thanks for the offer of a date, but if they come to meet up, I wouldn't be able to like see them directly after that, because I'm with my asexual friend still for a couple of days after that as well, because I'm with my best friend. They're down for their birthday weekend for 5 days and 4 nights. I can't wait to see them. They're so precious to me as a friend. We get on so well. Best guy friend I've ever had in my life. You know, I've got another really good best guy friend as well. But I knew Sam before anyone else really in the asexual community that I was close to. And well, there was a younger guy that used to be quite close to, but we don't really speak much anymore. But yeah, but Sam, I just totally trust him. Them now, sorry. I totally trust them. They're just amazing. Really, really special person. You know? So yeah, so anyway, yeah, so I was like thinking, well, that's really nice. And I said, well, shall I book you in for coming for the meetup then? Because we're going to a restaurant. And they're like, oh, chat some more and decide later if that's okay. Which is fine. And then they asked me if I was free tonight for a chat. And then they asked me if I've got a couple more pics. Now, when someone's asking me who's meant to be asexual about a couple more pics, it always concerns me a little bit. I'm thinking, hang on a minute here. Aren't we supposed to be getting to know each other as in terms of personality and in terms of like interests and chatting? Why do you need to? And especially when they ask for a couple more pics, right? But you know, other people are entitled to have their concerns or worries, and you know, sometimes if you're unsure of a person's age, or you're unsure of a person, you know, who they say they are, or anything like that, you know, you can ask to see a picture, like an up-to-date picture or something like that, or ask to see another picture, you know, to just verify who they are. And you know, obviously doing this channel and being a writer and author where they can clearly see my book on Amazon, it's a bit like, well, I'm definitely who I say I am, but you know, everyone has the right and entitled to do that, right? But I just find it a bit weird the way, you know, they phrase that so quickly. But you know, so I was a bit skeptical about that. I'm like, that's because that is sexual behavior. Sexuals do that all the time to me. Because they want to see pics, they'll get turned on by it basically. So I was a bit taken aback by that, but I thought, well, fair is fair, you know, like maybe I might ask a guy to see another picture because I want to actually see if I'm attracted me aesthetically to younger guys, then I need to know that younger guy really does look like a younger guy and he hasn't just posted a picture from years ago with an update picture. So, you know, a guy's entitled to ask me the same sort of thing. So that's fine. So I said, I was honest. I said I usually go for younger guys in their 20s, you know, and I'm not into sport because they're into sport, and I'm not into the outdoors, you know, so there's a lot of things there that possibly wouldn't really work. So yeah, but they do look younger. They do look like they're in their 20s. And I did say that I like their picture, even though I usually go for older, younger guys, not older. But they said, yeah, they do usually look younger. And then they asked me how old I was, and I told them about my birth certificate age, which actually, yeah, I told them about that. And so I told them that obviously I have a 21st mindset purposely and live like a teenager. And they said, oh, that's great. I'm sure we'll have fun. So I thought this is going really well, actually. The conversation's flowing really nicely. They're obviously really interested in me. This is all really, really positive. And then they asked us, I said, I like PDA. And then they wanted to know what that was. And I said, public displays of affection. Like, I like kissing, in a romantic relationship, right? So I did send them an update picture of me because I went to visit my parents today and my baby girl, Angel, who's my guinea pig daughter. And I sent them a picture and I thought, well, it's nice to send them a picture because they did ask for one. It's a very up-to-date one because I literally just snapped it, which I thought was fair for them. And then they said nice. And then they just said something that just disgusted me. I'm like, really? I get enough of this from sexuals. I don't expect asexual guys to be saying this type of stuff to me. I'm not saying asexual guys don't like this type of thing. I've known another asexual guy in one of my groups to like this type of thing. I'm not saying that they can't, but I just feel personally myself that I want to get away from all this type of thing. So they then said these words to me. Hopefully we can maybe have some video fun, etc. Only because we don't like having sex doesn't mean we still can't get off. In other words, we basically be having like video sex, wanking each other in front of each other. I just think that is so disgusting. What on earth was I talking about on this channel? Like, what was it? Very recently. About do asexuals really masturbate in front of each other? But I meant that is actually in a relationship, a sexual relationship, because obviously in my Asexual Guide to Sex book, it's mentioned in there that some people do like to masturbate in front of each other. This is in like a relationship context they're talking about in this book, And so personally, I have never ever had an heterosexual ex ask me for anything like that. Thank God, otherwise I'd run a mile. And but me having said that, me and my, like an ex never ever asked me for video sex, and they never asked to masturbate in front of me, as far as I know. Like my long-term exes, I'm not talking about other ones, but like serious relationships I've been in. Like, I mean, I do, I'm used to like I did masturbate them and they masturbated me, but I wasn't used to them like asking to do that in front of me, and I certainly never ever ever had any of my heterosexual exes ever asked for video sex. And that's basically what it is, get off. I mean, why on earth would I want to do that with someone, especially someone I just met? And it's like, really, are you really asexual? But I'm not saying, I do know that one asexual person that's done the video sex, but I think that was because that they were dating or interested in a sexual at the time, and they were doing it more for the sake of the sexual person than they was of themselves. But this guy's meant to be asexual, and it's like, well, like that's what you want the photograph for, obviously, because he wanted to see if I was wankable or not. Do you know what I mean? It's like, crying out loud, I want to get away from this. This is the type of life I don't want to live. I don't want to live this highly sexualized life. Do you know what I mean? I never had this in the past. I will not do stuff like that. I don't want to be masturbating on camera or seeing some guy wank himself off in front of me. I just think that's hideous and disgusting. I don't even want to see a guy do that to himself in front of me. I think it's disrespectful. I'm like, if you're going to do that, go and do it in a toilet somewhere. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? I'm not interested in seeing a guy do that with touching himself. I just don't. Personally, that's a turn off for me. I don't get turned on by that. I don't like it. I just find it repulsive, the whole idea. And, bear in mind, I just started chatting to this guy and he's asking for that already. So my response was, no, you're not my type if you are asking for that. I don't do anything like that. So you are now not what I'm looking for. But I wish you well in finding someone suitable. Which, yeah, I wish everyone well in finding someone suitable, And if this was a sexual guy I was talking to, I could kind of expect it a bit more. But an asexual guy I've just met, who I haven't even video chatted with, even asking me that. I mean, thank God I didn't video chat with this guy, and they put, oh no, it was a suggestion, that's all. If you don't like that, we won't ever mention it again. It's like, yeah, but that's the type of guy you are. You like doing that. I don't even like nudity. I don't want to be naked in front of a guy, and I don't want to see him doing that. I'm not interested in a guy's penis. I'm not interested in seeing a guy wank. I'm not interested in seeing a guy's penis. I'm not interested in that. I can care less about what he's doing below his waist. I'm not interested. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know it. He can put it away and keep it for himself. I'm not interested, And it's just, I just feel it's a shame when I'm trying to get away from all this stuff, Like, I have gone in, I've registered in another dating group for the UK that isn't asexual one. And I'm talking about me being asexual in it. And I know that's kind of like a bit ironic when I'm talking about an asexual guy being sexual. And then, but I'm thinking, well, I'm trying to find an asexual guy. It's like a needle in a haystack. So I may as well start going through UK dating groups that aren't for asexuals and see if I can find a young asexual guy in amongst any of those type of groups. Because obviously, if they don't know asexuality exists, they don't know it's a thing, but they realise they don't like sex and not bothered about it, then if I post something like that, I should get guys come forward. Obviously, I'll still get the sexuals because I don't take any blooming notice, a lot of them. But I should get some guys coming forward that don't mind that type of life, that really are asexual, got a low sex drive, or that are not interested in sex. So I think you've got to expand your circles. And when you're in the dating realm, if I'm on asexual dating sites on ASAP and I'm getting similar sort of people or the same sort of people over and over again. I mean, this guy I haven't spoken to before, so I was quite hopeful, but So, but if I'm getting the same people just over and over again, I have to do something differently. So I'm going in sexual dating groups. And the thing is, I can educate them about asexuality at the same time. So it's a win-win for me in that sense. But I mean, they are highly sexual, the pictures they post, the stuff they talk about, it's all geared towards sexual stuff a lot of the time. Boobs out, talking about dicks and penises. It's like really disgusting. Not everyone's like that in it though. But, I'm thinking, fine, it's a challenge. I'll be in the group. I'll post about what I'm looking for. A no sex ever relationship. Don't want marriage. Don't want kids. Quite happy to live on my own, And I'll see what comes of it. If anything, I'll just educated a few people that there is something called asexuality out there. That's because, I'm not expecting to necessarily get anyone through there. I have met guys who, are in the UK not met them in person. I've spoke to them in there, but, they all want sex. One of them didn't say about sex, but they want a marriage. And it's like, I'm not interested in any of the sexual stuff, but it's kind of like if asexuals are behaving like this, the way they talk, they're getting really sexual, some of them like this, like, it's like, what's the difference between you then and a sexual person? I may as well just go in a bunch full of sexuals if all I'm getting is that type of thing anyway. It's just the same sort of behaviour. It's like, oh, well, if I can hack it from an asexual person, I'll go in a group full of sexuals. It's not going to make any difference, is it? Like sometimes in a group full of sexuals, I can feel like it's a shark attack, shark bane, but some of them are really good. Some of them, like this woman in this new dating group I'm in, she was like genuinely asking about it. She goes, I hope you don't find me being rude, but I'm trying to Google it to find out what hetero asexual is, not heterosexual. But I call it hetero asexual to them because I think it's easier for them to understand. But I said, I'm actually a heteromantic asexual. I explained why. Basically, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, by the way, if you're enjoying the content. Just really appreciate that. And, it's just like, I just think, what's the difference? What's the point? Oh, I guess one has sex and the other doesn't, theoretically. But I mean, if I kiss, right, I do find it arousing, naturally. But I don't want to take my clothes off and I just want to enjoy the kissing. I just want a guy who loves kissing like I do, holding hands and cuddling. Kissing, holding hands and cuddling. Like, you would think it was asking the whole world, but really I just want one guy to do that with. I don't think it's that much to ask, quite frankly. I mean, yeah, I know lots of asexuals sadly don't like kissing as much as I do. I like kissing for long periods of time. It's fun, it's good, healthy for me. I'm not saying other people who don't like that, but you know what I mean? It's just like, why do these people do it? I mean, I didn't really understand video sex much. I had to ask one of my one of my sexual friends, and I said, what do you do on this video sex? Can you explain to me? Because I'm kind of like curious from an asexual helping others point of view, because I don't really have a clue what it is. And someone in one of my asexual dating groups on the more sexual end of the spectrum said they had participated before. So like, yeah, you basically sit there and you touch your privates in front of them and touch your body bits and all that lot, and basically, you know, get an orgasm or come or whatever, get off on it, you know, or like, and I'm just okay. But obviously that's my sexual friend. I expect that type of behavior more from a sexual person, you know. I mean, you know, I didn't know this particular person did that, but they're pretty open that they do lots of sexual stuff. So, you know what I mean? It doesn't really surprise me. But and I thought, well, you know, I'm like, well, what do you actually do, if you don't mind me asking? You know, because what happens? Because I need to know. If someone's posting that they do an asexual, I need to know if an asexual asks me for that type of thing. Obviously, it's pretty obvious what it is, but I want to double check what actually goes on. And it's like, oh yeah, you know, like a woman might touch her private span below and a top part, and the guy's there doing this, and it's like, oh, is that it? Okay. And that doesn't appeal to me at all. You know, it just doesn't appeal to me. Why would I be interested in that? I'm not interested in a guy's penis, to be blunt with you. I'm not. I just don't like it. I don't see the need for it because I'm not interested in it. You know what I mean? It doesn't need, I don't need that for kissing, and kissing's what I like, you know? I only need a guy from waist up. You know, I don't need any of the other bits. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't. So, it's kind of like really difficult. I'm like, really, an asexual guy? And he's like, oh, so I've been asexual most of my adult life. I'm like thinking, well, I've been asexual since I was born, just didn't realise it, which is what a lot of us have. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, I just, you know, sometimes you feel like with dating, asexual dating, you know, you feel frustrated, despairing. It's like, but I think it'll all be worth it in the end, because I think you've got, as one person said in my old job who wasn't asexual, you know, sometimes you've got to kiss a lot of frogs before you get your prince. In other words, you've got to go through a lot of rubbish people that are no good for you. I'm not saying that person's rubbish for someone else. They might be exactly what they're looking for. There might be an asexual female who loves doing that type of thing, you know. But for me, absolute rubbish. Do you know what I mean? That's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in a deep and meaningful conversation where I can truly connect with someone on that very soulmate heart connection. Someone who can deeply understand me. Someone who can just be like a teenager love, you know. I don't want any of this like sexual adult stuff. I just want pure teenager romance, like excited to kiss, feeling good, you know, feeling awesome, like feeling cute and cuddly all the time, and the magic and wonder of it, you know. And quite frankly, I'll just create that atmosphere myself because I do already. I'll just carry on doing it, you know. I'll just date some more of myself, because to be quite honest, at least I can have myself loved up and romantic exactly how I want. I can't control what other people do. I don't want to control what other people do, but it would be nice to meet a guy who wants the same things as me naturally. You know, if I can't get it then, or not at the moment, then I'll just carry on in my own life, enjoying my single time, focusing on my career and self-dating. Yeah. You know, at least when I'm self-dating, I don't have to worry about any of that rubbish, you know? It's like, do you know what I mean? And it's like they said, oh, we won't mention it again. But just imagine if I was with a person like that. I know that's what they're like. That's what they like doing. They could be off doing that with loads of other women, getting their thrills out of that type of thing. Do you know what I mean? Because asexuals can still cheat. So why would I want a guy? I just don't trust you now after that. I don't trust you at all. You're just completely opposite of what I want, you know? So anyway, we must remember in life that some of these people, just because they're not right for us, doesn't mean to say they're not right for someone else. Someone else might love that type of thing. And, you know, if they do, more power to them for being like this guy, you know, but I don't like it. And it just makes me kind of a bit what the F crazy when I just see asexual guys. They're like, to me, it's like extremes. It's like they're asexual guys that are like not really that interested. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up. They're not that really interested in pursuing a relationship as such and being proactive rather than reactive, in actually taking the initiative of going on dates and having relationships and trying their best. You know, if they've not been in a relationship, how are they going to get any experience unless they do try and be in a relationship or try dating first of all, you know? The way you get experience is by experiencing stuff, you know? If I've got fears, I have to do the thing I'm afraid of. I have to. Because if I don't do the thing I'm afraid of, I'm never going to get competent at it and confident at it. So I know it's scary. I've got loads of things I get scared about, which are quite illogical sometimes. Like, certain business stuff like certain business stuff I'm really good with and I fly with. Other stuff I just procrastinate too much. And it is an issue I'm continually dealing with and trying to self-develop myself in that area, because I know that I've got areas in my brain that I'm trying to do something, and the old me's trying to stop the new me. The new me wants to progress and move forward, and the old me's trying to say, but I can't do this right now because it's not working. Blah, 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 blah. Talk, So I'm having to push through. So I sometimes have to make myself do something, I have to push and go, right, you're doing this now, whether you like it or not, because I know it's good for me, but like sometimes your subconscious can sabotage yourself because your subconscious can tell you negative old patterns and thoughts and stuff. And you just have to push through. I've got a lot of stuff to do this week, and I hope I get a lot of it done. I mean, I've got a sore throat at the moment. I had, so it's like I need to get some rest and be up fresh for tomorrow because I've got to sort website stuff out and Asexual Guide to Sex book out and lots of stuff, So I think, when you do have something happen like this, where dating's not going particularly well, just know that it might not be your right time for you to have a relationship. That doesn't mean to say you give up and don't have hope, but it just means to say that, maybe it's not the right time for you right now and that you will find someone still. I believe I will still find a relationship. I believe probably it's more like in the future than now, because right now I want to focus more on my career. But I mean, it was nice to be asked for a date. It's just a shame that asking for date very soon quickly turned into like having a wank over the video, basically a video with each other. It's like, no, it's not what a Skype date is about. A Skype date is about seeing if you're compatible to be in a relationship with each other and dating, not sexual stuff. Obviously, some people will do sexual stuff on dates, obviously, but I mean, like, I'm asexual, for goodness sake. Why would I want to do that? Why? It's just like, why? And so, yeah, I was a bit disappointed and I was a bit taken aback and I was a bit like, wow, And I know that people can work things out in relationships. I know theoretically, if one person wants to do something, the other doesn't, you can tell them. But it's like, if that person's already starting off with the inclination they want to do stuff like that, I mean, I don't even like nudity. Not compatible, is it? Anyway, have you come across anyone that likes video sex that's asexual? Like I said, I've come across one person who's in my Great and Demi group. So I run 5 groups on Facebook for asexual. So I'm not saying that some asexuals don't like it or won't participate in it, because some will, obviously, because I know someone who did. But it's just like, it drives me crazy when I'm like trying to get away from certain situations. It's like I got a sexual person who's my friend, like been my friend for a long time. This year they started telling me, oh, I get your pictures and do that over it, wank over it, basically. And it's like, it's so gross. I don't need to know that. But then I'm thinking, well, they're just speaking what's the truth, Some guys do that type of thing, And it's kind of like he's just telling me the truth about what he does. But it's like, do I really need to know that? And is that all you want my face for, to see if it's wankable over or not? Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, what about my personality? What about the fact of an intelligence connection? What about the fact of a soulmate connection? What about the fact of actually getting to know someone on a sharing ultimate secrets level? What about that? What about pure love? What about this deep soulmate connection where you are so connected to each other? You just tell each other anything and everything and just nothing's off limits. You have no problem in telling this person who's your best friend, your soulmate, the love of your life, whatever you want. Hello, my life. Nice to see you. That's what I want, this deep soulmate connection, not this superficial stuff. You see, I think like stuff like this video sex, especially when you only just start talking to the person and they're asexual, I just think it's so superficial. There's no like getting to know me as a person. There's no like getting to know my personality. It's all about pictures and wanking. I mean, I'm being quite frank, as you know, on this channel, because it's like disgusting to me. It's like, what sort of person goes straight to that and doesn't try and figure out what the person's like? obviously I don't think that person's looking for a long-term committed relationship, because if I'm looking for a long-term committed relationship, right, I'm looking to see if I can patball in lots of ways, you know, with hobbies, with interests, and with the type of relationship I want, and also the personality. Getting to know if I can talk to the person, getting to know if the person like doesn't want to answer my questions or does want to answer my questions, getting to know if I feel any sort of fondness for the person in the sense of warmth of their character coming through. Not just, you know, I do experience asexual attraction. I do want a guy who's asexually attracted towards me, or to me, I should say, because I can't kiss just anyone unless I'm highly aesthetically attracted to a guy. I won't enjoy it. But I still want the other stuff to be there. I still want to know that I've got connection. I still want to know that the guy cares about talking to me and that loves talking to me and communicating with me and speaking to me like a human being. I still want to know that, you know, I can like do other things with him, like go to the cinema and theme parks and zoos and have a fun time like a kid would do. Thanks, my life, you know? So I was just so shocked that an asexual guy said that to me about doing that over video. And, you know, it was all about looks and yeah, oh yeah, I like your picture now, I'll just wank all over you. It's just like disgusting to me, you know? It's like, I'm worth more than that. I'm worth more than a guy just doing that and wanting to do that with me. Is that all you think about? Do you know what I mean? It's like I've got enough of sexuals thinking about that type of thing without having an asexual guy come into my life and do that. It's just like, I want to get away from it. I outsmarted my egotistical friend with a simple riddle. Oh, bless you. That's really funny. But yeah, I just couldn't believe it. I'm still a bit shocked, to be honest, that they were asking to do that. Like, it's like, come on, you don't even know me. It's a few messages in. How am I supposed to even believe you're asexual if you just say that when you randomly meet me? Do you know what I mean? It's just like, you know, I don't do it. I will not provide any nude pictures. I will not have video sex. I will not do any of that stuff. People like that got some issues. This is an asexual guy, apparently. And it's like, do you know what I mean? It's like he's talking to another asexual person. I could understand more if he was trying to please a sexual partner, but really asking an asexual woman, girl, who they've just met for that? Seriously? Is that really? Yeah, exactly. I don't think that's a good guy at all. Certainly not for me. Maybe he's good for someone else, but not for me. But I can't think any woman. I mean, even heterosexual women. Well, some heterosexual women are very like full of wanting sex. From the dating sites, dating groups I'm in that are not asexual on Facebook recently. It's like these women literally, they just purposely undo part of their top to show their boobs and go, hey boys, come on. It's like, what? Absolutely disgusting. It's like, is that all you want to stand for? Your boobs? Heather says he sounds like a snowflake. I don't know what a snowflake is. I know some people criticize asexual saying, oh, what do you think? You're a special snowflake. It's like, no, we're not. So I don't know what it means in the context of him. He sounds flaky. I think maybe you mean, Heather, more than snowflake. I think you mean flaky. A flaky guy, though, is someone who doesn't actually who snowflake. Yeah, but snowflakes are nice. So I don't know why he sounds like a snowflake, because he doesn't sound. I think snowflakes are beautiful. I don't think this guy's beautiful. Asking me to get off with him on video chat, video thing, because he's not actually ace and he's just trying to be a special snowflake. Oh right, okay, fake. Yeah. Well, it would seem that way if he's behaving like that, as in being different just for attention. Yeah, but the thing is, he's not being different, is he? He's just being like everyone else. But I just don't, you know, I know that a lot of asexuals get criticised as special snowflakes, trying to pretending to be different when we're not, but we are because we're asexual. Thanks for explaining that, my life and Heather. Yeah. I mean, clearly, like, I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, really? How am I supposed to believe you're asexual when I've just met you asking for stuff like that? Like, it's very sexual behavior. This person's supposed to be a heteromantic. They're not even on the sexual end of the spectrum. You know? Heteromantic, asexual. And they do say I've been asexual most of my adult life. It's like, most of your adult life? Kind of asexual or not most of the time. Do you know what I mean? Usually. So it's like, and what about the rest of your life? Do you know what I mean? I think people confuse asexuality sometimes with just not having sex for a while. I just like, I was shocked. I was really shocked and disappointed as well, and a bit frustrated, I guess. But you know, at least I'm trying to speak to different people. But yeah, not my type. Anyway, onwards and upwards. I think you always have to think positive, and you kind of have to see these people as yeah, as in life update. Yeah, you have to see these people as just one of the people that come into your life that are no good for you, and just think of all the people you get through in your life that are no good for you means you'll get through to the people or person eventually that is the right person for you. It's like dating is really a numbers game. I hate to say that, but and obviously with asexuals, you're kind of more limited to numbers that would be compatible with you. You're limited because we're 1% of the population. Excuse me, I recorded 1% of the population, and like me personally, I'm more limited because I'm female and I'm interested in guys. There's more female asexuals than males, and there's more aromantic asexuals than romantic asexuals, meaning there's more people who are asexual that are not romantically interested in having a relationship. My life, I'm learning how to have a slow relationship. Lesson to all: everyone has different paces. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Yes. This guy tonight seemed to have a pace of 55,000 miles per hour. Let's get straight to having sexual acts in front of each other. I'm like, what? No. Yeah. I'm like, that's his pace. Yeah. I've seen a photograph of you now. Confirm that I want to wank over you. Let's do it together. It's like, no, thank you. Let me vomit now. Thanks very much. I'm like, no. Oh dear. Yuck. I can't think of much worse. Well, there are worse stuff, um, but yeah, that's good. My life that you're learning how to have a slow relationship. Lesson to all, and everyone's in place. So now, thanks Heather for saying he's fake as well. This seems probably likely. I don't like saying people are fake, but keeps his wanker away. Yeah, exactly. You know, I've had random people hit me up and be like, "Want to smash?" And I'm like, "Hell no, blocked." What is smash? Is that the same as wanking? But it's like, this guy is on an asexual dating app saying he's asexual, doesn't even know me and asking for that. I'm like, my heterosexual exes, the one that I'd been in 8.5 years with, he didn't ask me to do anything like that. Thank God. You know, and I'm just thinking, hang on a minute, some of these so-called asexual guys are more sexual than the sexual guys I've ever been with. You know what I mean? It's like, geez, I want to get away from that. I just hate all that type of thing. Maybe he's one of the ace phobes trying to prove aces wrong or fix us. I don't know. His profile doesn't come across that way, but who knows? Who knows what these people are like, you know? I honestly don't know. I was just a bit shocked. I'm still a bit shocked. And it's just a shame when he asked me for a date. But then, in general, asexuals don't tend to ask me for dates. Con artists, there's quite a lot of them out there, isn't there, sadly? And it's a shame they come on asexual apps, you know? It's a real shame. They did say they might watch my channel as well. I thought, well, if they watch my channel, they'll see that I don't like that type of thing even more. I don't mention their names, so they're anonymous, so no one knows actually who they are. So I'm not going to divulge who they are because I don't think that's fair. But I think it is right for me to say this too on my channel. You know, it's something that happened to me. It's something that's quite disturbing for me, and exactly, I should have asked him for fart video. Hi, Raven. Nice to see you. Should have asked him for a fart video. Oh my god, no. That would involve his bum, Heather. And sadly, some people think the bum's a sexual thing. Do you know what I mean? Sadly. How are you, Raven? Are you asexual as well? Or are you a person who's come in to just say hello to my community anyway? Just kidding, Heather. Yeah. I mean, it's just like beggars belief. I've watched you in the past. Oh, thank you. Thanks very much. Appreciate that. Yeah. So, how are butts sexual? I'll never still understand that. Oh, you like to think about girls, Raven? Oh, right. I'm into guys. Oh, when you're alone. My life's asking how are butts sexual because do you really want me to answer that? Well, some guys like to stick their dick up a woman's bum. If I'm being very blunt, like I usually am on this channel, if you're asking me what's sexual, do you know what I mean? That's how butts are seen as sexual because some people like to have anal sex. I personally run a mile for that type of thing. My ex did actually ask me for that. Well, no, he started trying to do that to me once. I'm like, what are you? Why do people like that? I'm a girl watcher and that's with lust. All right, Raven. So you're watching me with lust, are you? Oh, God. Okay. All right. Okay. There's proof it causes health issues. I'm not into that. My life. I don't like love cleavage and give it in return. Okay. Well, I'm not sexual. I'm asexual, Raven. As in, you probably know that by now that I don't tend to show my cleavage because I'm not interested in anything like that. Doesn't do anything for me. I don't like a woman's body personally. I find it quite disgusting. My own I'm okay with looking at, but for me, not anyone else. Yes, my life. There's proof it causes health issues. Yeah, there are some health issues with anal sex, as in you can get tears. My chat can be for others in the chat. Okay, well, all the people here at the moment don't like sex. Just so you know. And they're not really want to get their cleavage out, as far as I know. Well, certainly not on this channel anyway. If they do it, we'll do it in other places. My life's got a boyfriend, and Heather's not into that type of thing. So yeah. So yeah, my life there is actually issues with anal sex. And the issues is that because obviously that's how guys have sex, guys on guys as well. And yeah, you can tell, I've heard, I've known people who are guys who have sex, and it can tear part of the inside of the bum, and so it can be difficult and painful like that. Yeah, because I've got guy friends a particular person I knew who, was talking about that, one of the risks involved in it. So, and some people, which I didn't know until I came across someone who was meant to be oh, take care. Yeah, thank you, for dropping in. So what was I saying? Yeah, so some people also, which I didn't know, because I met a guy that was meant to be asexual, but again, I don't think he was. And he was talking about having his finger in the bum as well. So that's how a bum can be sexual as well, my life. The anal sex and the fingering of the bum. I hadn't even heard of anal fingering before until I actually he was talking about what he liked to do, and I was thinking this must be a thing because he's talking about it, so I googled it, and I'm like, yeah, that's anal fingering, and I didn't even know that it was a thing. People justify AS because there's a pleasure spot, but that's there to make going second less painful. TMI, but it's science. People justify AS, anal sex, because there's a pleasure spot, but that's there to make going for number two less painful. Oh, but it's science. Yeah. I mean, obviously, that's how two gay guys have sex. They have sex by one of them putting the penis up the other guy's ass. That's how it goes. That's been done for years. It's the way it is. There's a mouth. Yeah. But that's all sex. Guys who do sex up the bum with each other, that to them is intercourse because it's going inside the bum as instead of the vagina, whereas I think oral sex to them is more seen as oral sex. So I think anal sex for two guys is like the equivalent of a woman and a guy, penis to vagina, and they see the others as oral sex. But some guys do oral sex and they don't do anal sex. I've known that before. Known that with asexual guys actually, on the more sexual end of the spectrum, that do that or have done that. So yeah, but that's how it's sexual, and also with as well, that a guy, for example, if a sexual guy touches me on the bum, it's because it's near my vagina. Do you know what I mean? Now that's why guys sometimes touch women on the bum, because it's very close to their vagina, close to the entry point for intercourse. So they like to touch around there to feel around it in preparation for sex as well. Do you know what I mean? Like it can be used in foreplay, like with holding the bum cheeks, shaking the bum cheeks, doing all types of stuff around it, and then putting their hands all over it. If a guy were to do that, I slap him. It's a good job you've got a slow boyfriend, pace boyfriend. Then that's a benefit. You've got a guy in that way. Better yet, you'd probably punch him. A typo. Yeah, I mean, a lot of my exes, when I was in relationships, I mean, a lot of guys do like to touch bum. It's really weird, right? My long-term ex, he used to touch me on the bum, right? And I used to do that to him, and he hated it. It's like, why are you doing that to me? I said, because you do it to me, so why not? He's like, yeah, but you're the girl and I'm the guy type thing. You shouldn't be doing it to a guy. I'm like, yes, I should if you're doing it to me. Why shouldn't I do it to you? My boyfriend would never do that because he respects me. Yeah, I mean, it's quite common in relationships with heterosexuals for that to happen. Like they put their hand down your trousers and feel your ass and all that type of thing. And to be honest, I kind of like, how can I put this? Actually, like I like public displays of affection, but I don't really like my bum being touched in public. But in private, it can be okay. But everything else, I don't mind doing in public, really. But it's kind of like I'm not so worried about it in terms of other stuff compared to other stuff. But it's like if a guy does touch me on the bum, I prefer it to be in private, not in front of people. I think that's a bit weird. And like, yeah, with my ex, it was just so annoying because he used to do it all the time to me. Now I tried to do back at him. And he's like, oh, no, you can't do it back to me because I'm the guy and you're the girl. Women can't do that to men. I'm like, yes, they can. It's normal because I thought it was heterosexual back then, so it's normal what heterosexual women would do with, women. I was walking yesterday and I saw a woman stroke her guy's butt in public. I love seeing couples in public, but when they grab each other, but it's like, hello, you're in public. Yeah. Well, I do like public displays of affection. So I am very, very I am very, very public. I do snog in public, like full on. So you probably have to look the other way if you were near me in public. So yeah, I don't like I don't need my bum holding in public, but I do full on snog, and I can sit on my guy's lap quite happily with his arms around me and sit in front of him, and like he can put his arms around me, and my bum can be pressed against his bits and all sorts, and I don't have any problem with any of that. I'm quite comfortable with that and quite happy with that. But I don't really like it for guys putting his hand down my trousers to stroke my bum in public. I don't like that. That's too. You're fine with seeing that in public. Oh right, okay. Yeah. But yeah, yeah, I don't like it when they grab my bum. But you know, it's like with my ex, I did it back to him because he kept doing it to me. I thought maybe if he doesn't like it in public, he kept saying, "Oh, don't do that to me," he would stop. But no, he just kept on doing it to me in public all the time with his, with his hand on my bum. He just kept doing that in public, and I'm like, "You're not going to stop, are you?" Do you know what I mean? Even though I said, "Well, you'll do it to me, I'll do it to you," and he's like, "No," and he used to then purposely still do it to me. I'm like, "Oh," but yeah, I'm not into that bum holding in public. Only way I justify seeing but grabbing in public is if they're on the other's lap and they're holding the butt to keep that other from falling. That's a trick sexual guys use, actually. And the rest. I just like they do sometimes if you're going up things like steps and they see it's taking you a long while to get up steps, then they'll like be pushing your bum up and stuff like that. And oh my god, like sometimes they try and hold your breasts in public as well. Like my ex, if used to be going on theme park rides, he would try and grab hold of my breast while I'm going on a theme park ride and say he was holding on. Like, so he's putting his hands under my arms, like say we're on the log flume, he's putting his hands, yeah, oh my god, exactly. I've been with I know. And like I'd be on the log flume with him because I like theme park rides, right? He'd be behind the log flume, and instead of just putting his hands over mine or holding me properly, he would literally put his hands up on my breasts and have his photograph taken like that. I'm like, oh my OMG. So in the photographs together, you could actually see where his hands was on my breast. Like, I knew they were on that. I don't know if anyone else particularly paid attention to that's what he was actually doing, because they might have thought he was just coming up and holding that. But if you look closely, that's what he was doing. And I'm just, when I see the picture, I'm just like, you're so sexual. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, it's, yeah, there's a lot of sexual stuff that sexual guys do in public. And it's just like, oh my God. And he used to love doing that a lot in theme parks, and for me, I just want to enjoy the theme park ride, and I don't mind my partner's hands around my waist or around my back or holding my hand. But doing that, I'm like, yeah, men, like doing that, it's like, really? Really? Do you have to really do that? Do you know what I mean? But I was with a heterosexual for 8.5 years. So kind of like, what do you expect, really? So yeah, I kind of like got used to that type of thing. Really, I could see in photographs. I'm like, oh my god! But it's just like, I don't know if other people would notice it as much as I did, because they kind of like could just think they were putting their hands inside. Though women do it too. Yes, it is important to acknowledge this, that women do. I mean, like I said, I saw a girl, like, was it day before yesterday or something? Well, it's gone midnight now, so it would actually be the day before yesterday. And yeah, the woman was literally stroking her guy's butt in public. And I think women should do things just as much as men in the sense of equality. I don't think everything should just be about men doing it to women. I think women should have equal rights if they want to do that type of thing. But I just find the whole thing, like, from an asexual point of view, it's like, I just want to enjoy the ride, and I'm quite happy to kiss, cuddle and snuggle up to you or have you around me, but why do I need to have your hands on my boobs? Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not interesting for me. It's just like, I'm interested in enjoying the ride with you, not having that touch. Do you know what I mean? But I guess I was just in heterosexual relationships so much in my life, I just got used to that type of thing. It's a bit. I noticed it though when he did it. I noticed it. I'm like, oh, here we go again. The same thing. Do you know what I mean? It gets a bit boring and tiring if you're not interested in that. You just end up thinking, oh, here we go again. I mean, eyes rolling. Do you know what I mean? So, but I was so used to that type of life and lifestyle. It just kind of like, I did notice it. It was, you know what I mean? But it's just, and he used to do it on purpose every time just before the photograph was coming. So I didn't even know he was going to do it sometimes. He would just like have his hands down there and then go like that purposely at the moment of having the photograph taken, or when we were, well, usually when the photograph's been taken, actually. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think it's just was something that he liked to do, you know? Exactly. Bruh. Yeah. It's like really weird when I look back at all the stuff that went on. It's like, oh my God, Sandra, you just like used to accept so much. But I was so used to having that type of life. I didn't know any different really. And it's kind of like, you know, I'm quite comfortable with some stuff, but that was a bit like much. But you know, I kind of like, I just got so used to him doing that. It's like it's like, because he was quite abusive in many ways, you know, it's kind of like I really enjoyed being at a theme park, you know, and that was a nice thing to go to, even though it was with him. I'd rather go with other people, obviously, and I, you know, now it's you know, not, I don't talk to that person anymore, thank goodness. And so but do you know what I mean? It was like there was other things in the relationship I was more concerned about, I guess, than that. Um, but you know, because he was an abusive type of guy, he would, you know, it would do what he wanted to do anyway. That's the point, you know. Abusive people, like you said, in my life, your boyfriend wouldn't do that. Would like put his hands on your backside in public because your boyfriend respects you. And I think that's the point, you know. When someone's abusive, they go over your boundaries. They do things that they want to do without any feeling about what you want. They just do it because they think it's fun, they like it, and they'll just go ahead and do it anyway, regardless of whether you like it or you don't like it. And it's kind of like they're, you know, like with this attitude about, you know, like, oh, I can touch your bum in public, but you can't touch mine type attitude. You know, that you can tell that's not a good guy, can't you? Straight off, that he's allowed to touch my body any way he wants, but I can't do that in public, but I can't do that with him. Do you know what I mean? So you can kind of see how that's not right and that's not equality. Love can be blind sometimes. The problem is I always used to think he would go back to the way he was, because if you've ever, well, I hope you haven't, but for people who've been in abusive relationships, particularly women, who have been in abusive relationships by guys, you can't. They have like this magnetic hold over you. Obviously, he doesn't anymore, but they have like this magnetic. You've been there, oh, so you understand. Yeah, they have like this magnetic hold over you, or you think they do at the time, and it stems from a lot of problems with yourself, in the sense of, like, I had a lack of self-love back then, probably a lack of self-respect in some ways, but particularly lack of self-love, you know. And when he said to me, oh, you know, who else is going to want you, basically, because of previous things I've been through in my life, then I used to kind of maybe believe that, and it's very damaging. Yeah, ouch, you know. And so when someone makes you believe that that's the best you're going to get and you can't get anyone else, and when you're financially kind of intertwined with that person, living with them, and you know, there was feelings there on both sides, but it's a very toxic type of feeling. And the person was like, you know, someone who's abusive like that, they tend to be abusive a lot in private, you know, like to their friends, they're like Mr. Happy Go Lucky, but wouldn't melt in their mouth. But behind closed doors, they're like punching walls and all sorts. Do you know what I mean? Threatening. It's just horrible. And I'm just so glad I'm free of all that now, you know? I used to make myself think that about my love life, and decided not to think that way anymore. Yeah, it's really important. I would rather stay single for the rest of my life than ever, ever, ever be with a guy like that ever again. I will definitely make sure I am. I mean, at the moment, I've got no one to be in a relationship with. I won't be in a relationship with just anyone. There's absolutely no point in that. You know, I'm glad that I left that mental prison, as I called it, because a lot of it was mental and emotional, but there was some physical stuff, but a lot of it was mental, emotional, you know. And I'm so glad I've left that life behind. I'd never want to go back to that type of life, and it's really hard to find a decent guy. It's not easy. I've got a few decent guys as friends, but trying to find a decent guy for a relationship that's very similar to what I want is very difficult. You know, it feels like at times it's almost impossible, but nothing is impossible, you know? In the word impossible, if you split it up, it means I'm possible. So everything is possible. And I do believe there are some good guys out there. They're just very few and far between. Um, and it's yeah, I love myself implicitly, and I don't think I'm not going to get anyone. Now I think, well, it's a case of if I actually want someone or not. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes I'm 50-50 split on it. And sometimes I'm just happy to be single and I don't want anyone. And other times I think it would be nice to have someone, but not if it means changing myself. Only one I want to change for is myself. I have to change myself for me, and I'm doing so at the moment. I've got so much more to change, you know, constantly trying to change myself at the moment. It's kind of hard because you have the old you versus the new you. Like, I want to stop being so procrastinating. Sometimes I feel like I procrastinate too much. So I have to push myself to do stuff, but I'm trying. The point is I'm trying and I'm getting stuff done that is different to what I've done in the past sometimes, or I'm pushing myself to get things done where I'm scared about things. Sometimes to me it's like, well, you don't really need to be scared of this, but I understand why I am from past experiences. So it's kind of like I have to push myself and push myself and push myself constantly, you know. But it's like I sold my commercial printer this week, and I was having an episode recently about how I did, I was speaking about how I had some emotional attachment to a printer. I mean, you're like, part of you's thinking, what, are you off your trilly chomp? But it's like, no, actually, it's that printer was with me through a lot of hard times. Oh, you were on that conversation, weren't you, my life, I think. After I found out my abusive ex on Insta, I blocked both his Insta accounts, had to say that Insta like that because it won't let me send if I actually spell it out. That's okay. Well, I blocked my ex on Facebook a long, long time ago, and they came on LinkedIn and I got a notification. I don't know how, because I deleted their phone number out of my phone. For some reason, it still had their must have had their number somewhere. And and they said when they came on LinkedIn, I blocked them on LinkedIn because I had to find out how to block them on LinkedIn because I didn't know you could do that, but I found out how to block them on LinkedIn. And so I don't have any contact with that person. They still live in my city though, so I could theoretically still end up seeing them. But luckily, I personally searched to block his ahead of time just in case. Yeah, I had to find my ex on Facebook when we first stopped speaking to block him on that. I wasn't expecting him to come on LinkedIn. He looked like he got a new job, which was weird, a driving job. But I'm like, you never drove. You never did driving when I was with you. But you can even drive. Well, it was actually a job in a car garage, but I think usually they look for people to drive and that type of thing. So anyway, it's not my business. I don't care what he does anymore. I just blocked him, so I wasn't expecting, and especially I haven't got his phone number anymore, so I don't know how. It must have been in an old because I think his email came up in one of my old accounts as well. I'm like, all over a sudden one time, I'm like, what the hell? I didn't realize I even had anything to do with him. But sometimes I find stuff, like I found stuff like this year, even something he wrote to me that I didn't realize I had still in an old box. I had never looked in for years. So, but anyway, I'm just glad that he's out of my life, and I'm glad that I've learned the lesson that I don't want to be with a guy like that ever again, and that I won't be. I mean, if I come across any guys that are not good for me, I will not stay with a relationship like that. It's like the guy this year, a British guy. I was only with him for 3 weeks, but he was no good for me in the end. So I had to just get rid of that relationship. It's no good, And there was even an asexual guy going, "Oh, I told you it's not going to work. I told you it wouldn't work. Told you so." And I'm like, but at least I tried. At least I got from behind my computer and actually tried for a real relationship. Whereas some people, they don't even do that. They're so scared and feared doing anything. But and I knew that he might be right. But it's just like sometimes you have to try things, don't you, out in life? You know what I mean? And you won't get anywhere in life. And it's not my fault if they portrayed themselves to be a certain way to me and then they weren't. I was being honest with them. If they turn out to be not quite as they seem, taking everything into account, then it's not my problem, is it? Well, it wasn't my problem at the time of splitting up with them, but you know, it's just the way it is sometimes in life, you know. I've got to go anyway in my life because my throat's really sore tonight, so I need to stop this live stream now. But it's been lovely to talk to you, and yeah, I'll see you on the next video live stream. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the great big subscribe button right here, right now. Thanks so much, my life. Thanks, Heather. Thank you so much. Yeah, my throat's really sore all the way up here, all my back of my throat. It was sore at my mum's, all up here. It's quite hard. So, you know, I've talked for over an hour and it's really sore. So I hope I'm not getting really poorly again. But I need to go and rest and go to sleep. So anyway, take care. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Thumbs up always helps. Share this video if you think it'll benefit from anything of the, you know, anyone from the things we've said tonight. And take care. And Angel, oh yeah, Angel's with my parents. So yeah, I got to see her tonight. So that was great. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. Thank you. Had that. I'll give you all love to Angel when I see you next. And yeah, until next time, embrace your quirky and each other's. And I'll see you on the next video or live stream. And hopefully my voice won't have gone or I'll be able to speak. Take care. Bye. Bye.